Hey guys, and welcome to, of course, Sell Me a Movie. This is a part of the YouTube channel where what we do is we discuss my reviews or my personal opinions on films that I have seen either newly released in theaters, have been out for a while, out on Blu-ray, DVD, or even streaming as well. Today we will be discussing, of course, the sequel but also prequel to X, which is entitled Pearl. Now, this is a part of the trilogy that Ty West is doing. Of course, you have Pearl, that's a prequel to X, even though X came out first. And then, of course, you have Maxine, which has yet to be released in theaters or streaming-wise. So, of course, you'll get a review on that too. Now, I did recently do a review on X, so be sure to hit the button above to go see that review if you're interested in this after that. But regardless, though, let's go ahead and discuss, of course, Ty West's Pearl.
Hello there, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children.
Now, like I said in the X review, Mia Goth, this was the very first film franchise that I actually had experience in seeing her act. Now, the first one obviously was X, and then this one. Now, I am very intrigued on her acting techniques. I've not seen Infinity Pool at all. Of course, she stars with Alexander Skarsgård. That is more of an independent film as well, kind of similar to how X and Pearl is. Now, what I will say is the big difference between Pearl and X is the fact that X takes place in the 1970s and has that 70s feel to it, kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Pearl, which is what we are discussing today, that is very whimsical, and it has a whimsical color to it, which is very fascinating because you go from one genre and style of film, and then you go to a completely different. And the reason for that is because Ty West, when he brings the character Pearl into, of course, our viewing pleasure, it's all about how Pearl wants to be an actress. Not only that, but she is, of course, kind of held captive, really, in the farmhouse that she's staying at, trying to take care of her father. And her mother is very, I guess in a way, very controlling, but there is explanation to that later on in the film on why she's doing what she's doing. But during this process, Pearl is very psychologically damaged because what's happening is she's staying on the farmhouse and all she wants to do is escape. She wants to be a dancer. She wants to be in entertainment, but she is stuck at the farmhouse doing whatever her mom tells her to do, which, of course, in a way can make an individual become, I guess, psychologically caged in a way. Not only that, but throughout the film too, Pearl is always saying on how she doesn't feel like she's a normal person as well. And it kind of showcases, and I mean, if you see X, obviously you already know that she isn't a normal person. But regardless, though, the first introduction and the first streamline of the credits and the opening sequences, I loved it because, again, it reminded me very much of that whimsical, that Wizard of Oz feel to it, and I love the direction that Ty West actually went to get there. Now, when it comes to the horror elements to it, again, it keeps that whimsical, that coloration, the bright blues, the greens, the Emerald City color to it, but keeps it also where it's supposed to be in the sense of part of a horror in a slasher film. Now, just like the X film, the alligator too does play an important role in here. She's also fascinated, Pearl is, with the alligator alone, kind of like a pet. She always feeds it too, which is her first experience where you get to see her have kind of like, okay, she doesn't feel normal, is of course she honestly just kills a goose flat blank. The goose is looking at her, staring at her, and she takes a pitchfork and boom, there you go, and then feeds it to the alligator. So, not your usual type of individual. I do understand that nowadays, of course, it's different from back then. Back then, you may have had to do it, but the key factor of this sequence and of the scene that you kind of want to take a look at is not only her eyes, because the way that Mia Goth acts is fascinating. It's because she can play a psychotic individual, but then she can play it and also kind of act as a normal person. But it's the ability for her to act through, I guess, facial expressions. Like if you look at somebody, you know that, there's something wrong with them. That's exactly how she brings it to the table of her acting. She does play a psycho individual wonderfully well. And of course, at the end credits, all the end credits is her laughing and crying and just having this psychotic breakdown. And it's so I don't want to say traumatizing, but at the same time, very, very unsettling, because that's all you're seeing is the focus on her and Mia Goth just crying and acting like she wants to be a normal individual, but understandably she's not, because Pearl is a psycho. So again, going back to the story of it, the story takes place on the farm, taking care of the family, blah, blah, blah. I already explained that. But she does meet up with a projector guy at the movie theater, and she is kind of fascinated with him because he's all dealing with movies. All while she's actually married to a man who is fighting over in World War One. Now, does he die? I'm not going to give you that spoiler. I'm not going to exactly say who kills or who dies or what kind of happens throughout the process, because that's up to you guys to actually watch. What I will say is there's a sequence where family or even friends, I don't remember the connection there, but they bring a pig, and the pig is obviously cooked, kind of something that you would see on a, like, I don't know, in Hawaii or during like holiday season, specifically Thanksgiving, like you see that in the cartoons and movies, as you see the pig in the pan, I guess. And throughout the actual film, the amount of times that you see Pearl break down, and you could see that character change in the progression that character has to being a psycho, you start to see and slowly that pig deteriorate, because that pig stays outside, and then the maggots get caught up, of course, and start eating away that pig. And the more and more that Pearls go into that psychotic breakdown, becomes more of a serial killer, the more those maggots are eating away that pig. So it's kind of like a kind of interesting element that Ty West has actually brought to the film, because of course, again, like I said, it shows the progression of the character through a different example, I guess. It's metaphorically, if I will. But like I said, the film is a great film. X kind of took me a little bit until I appreciated it, but this film alone, the first time I saw it, I appreciated it. I appreciated Ty West's vision and storytelling within it. It is similar to X, obviously, so it's nothing new. But what I will say is the thing that you have to go in and what you take away from it is not only the beautiful shots that portrays, but the coloration of everything, like the cinematography, and overall though is Mia Goth's acting skills. Beautifully done. She wonderful. So I look forward to seeing her in Maxine, which is of course the third film that's yet to hit theaters. But if you guys have seen it, let me know down in the comments what you think about it. What did you think of my take? If you haven't seen it, please go out to see it. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel as well as all the social platforms, because that's very helpful as well. And in the meantime, of course, we do have a store where you can, of course, purchase any shirts or anything of that nature. That does help the channel. But overall, though, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time for the next review.